This is Chef Zach Townsend with Dallas Chocolate Classes. There are two officially accepted versions of the French Basque cake, one containing a vanilla pastry cream filling and the other a black cherry jam filling, both sandwiched between a moist and flaky pastry. My chocolate version includes a nod to both official versions, filled with chocolate pastry cream accented with a complimentary thin layer of black cherry jam. I hope this becomes one of your favorite chocolate desserts as it has mine. This cake is made of two separate components, the pastry and the filling. Let's begin by making the pastry first. To the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, combine all the dry ingredients: the pastry flour, cocoa, sugar, salt, baking soda, and baking powder. Check the description for how to make your own pastry flour. Combine these starting on low speed until thoroughly combined. Next, add the butter. Start the mixer on low speed. Increase the speed to medium-low and mix until the butter is incorporated and the dough just comes together, about 1 minute. Next, add the eggs. Lightly beat them with a fork to break them up, then slowly add them with the mixer starting on low speed. Increase the speed to medium-low just until the eggs are incorporated. The dough will be thick and sticky. Transfer the dough onto sheets of plastic wrap and wrap it well. Press it down gently into about a 1-inch thick disc. Then refrigerate until completely chilled, at least 2 hours. While the dough is chilling, make the pastry cream. Combine the milk and cream. Add the sugar and cornstarch to a mixing bowl and whisk to blend. Whisk in the egg until fully blended. Pour in half of the milk mixture and whisk until blended and the cornstarch is dissolved. Place the remaining milk mixture over medium-high heat, add the salt and stir to combine. Bring the milk to a boil, then pour about 2 tablespoons of it into the bowl with the egg while whisking constantly. Pour the egg mixture back into the saucepan with the remaining hot milk mixture. Place the pan back over medium-high heat and whisk constantly. After about 30 seconds, the mixture will become very thick. When this happens, immediately remove the pan from the heat. Immediately add the cocoa and whisk until blended and smooth. Add the chocolate and whisk until completely melted and the mixture is fully blended and smooth. Scrape all of the pastry cream through a strainer into a large bowl and press it through with a stiff silicone spatula. Straining it removes any lumps that may have developed while it was cooking. Don't forget to scrape off all the cream that collected on the bottom of the strainer. Briefly stir the pastry cream to smooth it out, then stir in the vanilla. Press plastic wrap onto the surface of the hot cream and place the bowl in the refrigerator to chill for at least 2 hours. Stir the black cherry jam briefly if needed to break it up slightly. Now add all of the chilled pastry cream to the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment and beat on medium-low speed until lightened, about 30 seconds. The pastry cream is now lightened and nice and creamy. Evenly divide the chilled dough in half and set aside at room temperature to soften slightly. Lightly beat 1 egg with a fork and set aside. Roll out the dough halves when still slightly chilled. The dough is sticky, so be sure to apply a generous dusting of flour to the work surface, the rolling pin, and the top of the dough. You should periodically dust again if the dough tends to stick. The pastry of a Basque cake should be rather thick, so roll it out to ideally a 1/4 inch thick, or at least no less than 1/8 inch thick. Roll each dough half to about 9 inches in diameter. If a piece of the dough breaks off, just gently reattach it and continue rolling. Cracks and broken pieces can be gently repaired as you're rolling out the dough. If the dough becomes too delicate to rotate, use a large offset spatula to run underneath it to ensure it's not sticking to your work surface. Use a template such as the bottom of a cake pan, a cake ring, or a cardboard round to cut out a circle to a final diameter of 8.5 inches. Discard the excess dough trimmings or just bake them up separately to enjoy as an extra treat. Transfer the dough circle to a baking sheet lined with parchment or a silicone baking mat. You will want to brush off any excess flour that remains on top. Place the baking sheet in the refrigerator to keep the dough chilled. Repeat the exact steps with the remaining dough half, rolling it out to 9 inches and trimming it to 8.5 inches. Transfer it to a baking sheet and keep it chilled. Spoon the black cherry jam onto one of the dough circles and spread it out to just about 1 inch from the border. Place large dollops of the whipped pastry cream on top and carefully spread it out to about 1/2 inch from the edge. Be sure to cover the jam without pushing it out all the way to the edges. You want to ensure you maintain a 1/2 inch border around the edge where the two dough circles will meet. Lightly moisten the edges of the dough with the tip of a pastry brush briefly dipped in water. Carefully lift up the other chilled circle and center it over the bottom circle. Gently place it on top. Be sure not to mash down on the filling. Using your fingertips, gently press the edge of the top circle onto the moistened exposed edge of the bottom circle to seal the two dough layers together. Do not press them together too firmly, but instead just enough to ensure a good seal without mashing the layers together. Brush the top of the dough with the beaten egg all the way to the edges. You will use only about 1/2 tablespoon of the egg. Using the back of a fork, lightly score the dough. Be careful not to cut through it. If you used a cake ring as your template and want to maintain a perfect circle, bake your cake inside of the ring. Otherwise, it's okay to bake it as is, although it may spread a little. Bake for about 30 minutes or until the cake is puffed and the center of the top no longer looks wet. Let it cool in the ring for about 30 minutes, then carefully loosen the cake from the ring with a small spatula and lift it off. The final baked cake should be about 1 inch high. Let cool to room temperature and enjoy. This is Chef Zach Townsend with Dallas Chocolate Classes. Watch more of my videos here. You can take an online or in-person class with me also. Just visit DallasChocolateClasses.com. Leave any comments or questions below this video and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. Oh, be sure to check out the description for more tips and extras.